everybody, we've got a couple of really interesting and really cool episodes we're covering this week. But first things first, if you're watching along at home on YouTube, you may be going, what the heck's wrong with the camera? It's because my camera isn't working for some reason. I can't figure it out. So I've got a little backup camera going right now, and it's at an odd angle. It looks really weird. But the one cool thing is it throws a shadow on my shirt that makes it look like I spilled something all over myself. That's a shadow. It's a shadow. It's a shadow. The other cool thing is from this angle, it looks like I'm a beefy boy. Like I look like the beefiest man. It's just the foreshortening and the forced perspective. Like, it looks really, I look like I'm better built than I am. But like, if you want to if you want the ideal Phil, there he is. Also, I'm posting some links again, a link again to links to help out mutual aid and such in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities in general during this infestation by vermin. So if you want to help out, just go to, I don't know what it's going to be, just go to the link. If you're listening along at home, I'll have the link in the description of the episode, and just follow along and click on that and make any donations you can. Really appreciate it. But we got two episodes that we're going to be watching today that are just blow me away, because one of them is based on a very important Berenstain Bears book, and one of them is based on what I called at the time one of the worst Berenstain Bears books I'd ever read. So this should be exciting. That's right. We're talking about Learn About Strangers and The Disappearing Honey. Won't you join me? Let's go. Welcome back to Deep in Bear Country, a Berenstain Bearcast. I am your host, Phil Gonzalez, and this week, I already told you what we're watching. We're watching the Saturday morning Berenstain Bears. The reason these two stories are so important is because at the time I recorded the Berenstain Bears Learn About Strangers, it was my first big two-parter, and it was back when I was still interviewing a lot of strangers, like people I'd never met. And I interviewed at the time, like the media director of the Jacob Wetterling Center here in Minnesota. This was at a time when like the Jacob Wetterling disappearance was still a disappearance. We still had no idea that case hadn't been resolved in the decade since it had happened. And I talked to the director about stranger danger, the concept of stranger danger in the 1980s, and how it's a flawed concept, how the things we should be teaching our children are not to be afraid of strangers, but how to interact with strangers in order to stay safe. And I can cover all that when we actually talk about the episode, but it was in prepping this episode and watching those episodes, or getting them set up, that I realized my emotional response to the story of the Berenstain Bears Learn About Strangers, I believe, is from watching this when it originally aired. In my mind, this was actually like a primetime special, which it wasn't. It was just a Saturday morning TV show episode, but in my mind, it was much bigger and more grandiose than what I realize it is. The other thing is, in the second episode, the Berenstain Bears and the Disappearing Honey, based on the first-time reader, The Berenstain Bears and the Missing Honey, which is just another Berenstain Bears detectives book. But it was, I went back, go back and listen to my episode, The Berenstain Bears and the Missing Honey. It's from just after the 1-year anniversary of this show. I was out of it, or a nightmare, or maybe I'd had something to drink before I started recording. It is a unhinged episode. Go find it. Go dig it up. Maybe I'll post it on YouTube. There's no visuals, but if you listen to me get gradually more and more unhinged about this book that I apparently did not like at all, we're going to see if the episode does it one better. So let's grab our buckets of popcorn, our juju bees, and our malted milk balls, some Sour Patch Garbage Pail Kids, or whatever they're called, some really disgusting nachos, the collectible drink popcorn bucket, I guess, that they would do. What would they do for that? I don't know. Brother Bear's mouth wide open with popcorn pouring out. And let's grab our tickets, get them rip, and head on into the theater. And for those of you listening along at home, I'll catch you guys on the other side. I'm going to have to do an edit here because my entire setup is a nightmare. Taking off the hat. Got a bunch of hat hair. Gonna throw on the old headphones. Oh yeah, the other thing is, if you're watching this on YouTube, I also couldn't source the episodes the way I have been, so you'll see what happens when I start watching them. It's a different experience, and here we go into the theater. Hey, let's learn about Strangers from Stan and Jan Berenstain themselves, because they wrote the story, we know they wrote the book, and they wrote the teleplay too. Let's learn about Strangers.
Hey brother, let's go.
Why didn't they release an album of this kick-awesome music?
To the mall and hang out.
The mall? The big mall? Have we seen the mall in the cartoon yet?
Do you want to go over to the mall and hang out?
Maybe later, sis. I'm really into this book. Flash Grizzly.
It's not a book, that's like a zine. That's like an independent zine you purchase, brother. It's 5 pages long.
Third dimension and the fourth dimension.
Well, get ready for the stranger dimension. Or the upside down, I guess. I don't know.
Even if you go at the speed of light.
Well, thrill. Hey brother, let's go.
Sorry, I'm really into the music.
Maybe pick some berries.
So Sister's a bored bear in this one. Unlike the book, this is just Sister being bored out of her mind.
Extinct for 14 million years.
Well, if you'd rather fool around with some dinosaur that's been extinct for 14 million years.
Extinct.
Extinct. However you say it, I think it smells.
Burn. Hey, brother, better put some salve on that burn. And also dinosaurs, I guess.
Geez, sis,
Brother, there's a real stick in the mud. He just does not...
Brother of mine. What's gotten into him? He never wants
You can
to
see
be
why I
friends
thought this one was a primetime
seems to
special.
me
There's
your
something
brother's doing
elevated
quite
about the
well.
presentation.
Yeah, but he never wants to go out.
It's just a phase he's going through.
He's becoming an introvert like his dad.
Oh,
An introvert? Why, you're Bear Country's champion extrovert.
not so, Mother. You'll find that introverts who act extroverted are actually more like me. Obnoxious, and they don't know when to turn it off. Let me show you what theater people act like, and you might be able to understand... Never mind.
Means something you used to do, like an ex-actor or an ex-teacher. So an extrovert is somebody that used to be an introvert. It's as simple as that.
That's rotten. Thanks, Papa.
Anytime,
Ooh,
sweetie, anytime.
thanks, Papa. Man, if Mama shook her head any harder, some days her head would spin right off.
Great.
See, they're good friends. It all works out. That whole introduction may as well have not happened.
Hello, frog. Hello, flowers. Hi, Mr. Painter.
Hello there.
Howdy. How's it going?
Howdy.
Get off the road!
Sister,
Oh my god, he just wrenched her arm. Look at her face.
I don't know.
Don't ever talk to a truck driver.
you mean they're all strangers?
Of course.
Holy cats!
Well, come on, brother. Let's get over to the village green.
Preservation Society. This music's so poppin' in this episode. This is great. It's like Nintendo music. It's just on, just nailing every episode.
Excuse me. I want to get our ball. What you feeding the pigeons?
Strychnine.
Special recipe. It's
Jeez
mostly
Louise.
corn, some rice, and for a special treat, a little brown sugar.
Hey, little brown sugar.
Really, sister? You're
How
going
come you
to have to
taste so
stop
good?
that.
Stop what?
Talking to strangers. It's just not a good idea.
What's the big deal? Why shouldn't I talk to strangers?
There's
Is there
25
some
people
harm
in this
Is
town.
there something wrong with strangers?
Yes, they're
Those aren't questions
strange.
for a brother. Those are questions for a mama or a papa.
And I know
Mr.
just the two
I'm
he takes her to
really
Cousin
glad you
Fred's
asked
house.
These questions. They're very important questions. The reason that you should never talk to a stranger and never
Is they
ever
might
take
be
presents from a stranger
murderers.
and never ever ever go anywhere with a stranger is that it's dangerous.
Oh dear, I do hope Papa can tell Sister about strangers without making everything scary.
What's dangerous about it, Papa? What
They
can
will
happen?
kill you.
All sorts of
They
things.
will take you. Look at this paper I have.
See right there.
Stranger father's cub.
Huh.
Here's another.
Missing cub found.
Gee.
Here's another. Missing cub not found. Here's another. Parts of missing cub found.
Newspapers full of reasons why you shouldn't talk to strangers. So remember, sweetie.
What
never
about talking
talk
to
a stranger.
reporters?
Never ever take presents from a stranger. And never ever ever go anywhere with a stranger.
Or near a stranger? Oh, come on.
Now, I hope you're paying attention to all this, brother.
Yes, Papa.
Smack.
Good night, sweetie.
Strangers especially hate
Good
you.
night, dear.
Night, Mama.
Are we gonna get a good old nightmare sequence? Night, Mother.
Right there.
Little.
Stranger bothers cub.
Yes.
Chief Grizzly questions
Stranger, 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 stranger. Cubbing found amiss. Chief Stranger mentions Grizzly.
Hey, sis. After
Stranger,
breakfast, wanna go over to the green and
stranger.
fool around like yesterday? Maybe play a little.
Did they just have them like sit in a toilet
What'd you
and
say?
record their
I
lines?
said after breakfast, wanna go
Brother,
over to the
no.
green and fool around. Maybe play a little frisbee.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Sure.
my girlfriend.
After breakfast.
It's uh-oh,
Mama, is it
uh-oh.
okay for us to go over to the green for a while?
I suppose so. Tell you what, I'll be driving to the farmer's market to get some apples. I'll pick you up on the way home.
And fool around. Stop
sister.
putting it that way, brother.
Come
All right, I don't
on,
need your life
sister.
story.
Sister!
Get away! Well, okay, Frog. Do you just wait there all day in case Sister walks by?
Come on!
Heck yeah.
Frisbee or not?
Oh, sure. Let's
This
go.
is the best episode of the... No wonder if it was traumatized. Man, the next episode's gonna be a real come down from this. Okay, you're not afraid of frisbees now.
Well, how are things at the village green today?
Okay.
I do
guess.
appreciate them keeping the
There's
yipe
so
in
many
there.
Strangers.
That's a very Berenstain
You
Bears
know,
thing to
what
say.
Papa told you about strangers was quite right. It's not a good idea to talk to strangers or accept presents or rides from them.
I know, Mama.
But that doesn't mean all strangers are bad. Why, chances are there wasn't a single person on that
And
green
they
that could
will
hurt a
kill
fly,
you.
much less a fine little cub like you. The trouble is, well, it's like this barrel of apples. There's an old saying that goes, "There'll
Wait, her
always be a
quality
couple
has
of bad
nothing to
apples
do
in
with-
every barrel. That's the way it is with strangers. Cubs have to be careful because of the few bad apples.
Look. I
And
found it.
they
It's all bumpy.
and they ruined the
shape.
you have to keep it going.
It's
And they
certainly strange looking,
Never mind.
but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Hey.
That's right,
inside,
sister.
perfect.
Throws it away.
Now here's one that looks fine on the outside.
Cut your finger right off.
Hey, what's up?
A bad apple.
Here's the question: how does Mama know this?
Hey, I'm going down to the middle
Yuck!
to
It's
fly
got an
with
intestinal
Fred.
tract.
Wanna come?
Sure. I can
Double
pick some
yuck.
wild
Hey, he said it. What does this teach? You just never know what's going on inside somebody's head. It could be full of worms, sister. Anyway, have a good day at the park fooling around.
If you've got enough flowers,
Uh-oh, here we go. Here's her brother proves to be a real hypocrite.
Wow, what a beauty! It's a radio control job. Wait a sec, sis. I want to watch.
Yeah, it's right.
It's a radio controlled job. We do love the term. It's a radio controlled job.
Talking to a stranger.
Man, I have 700 flowers now.
Beautiful his radio.
It's a real radio controlled job.
That's what he is, a stranger.
I'm gonna send it up and follow it in the car. You wanna come along?
Wow, can I?
Yeah, don't tell me.
Brother, talk to a stranger. Brother, talk to a stranger.
I was just
Big
kidding.
orange and green radio control job.
That doesn't matter. We have rules about strangers, and they're
I ought to beat the...
We have rules about tattletales too.
Sister
Well,
wasn't
if it was a
telling
big
because
radio
she was
control
trying to be
job.
mean. Sister was telling because she loves you and she was worried.
Do you think that guy
Oh,
was a
really?
bad apple?
Probably not.
That's right. But you have
Best
to be
lesson
careful.
in the book.
Well, anyway, thanks for looking out for me.
Anytime.
Oh, God, I thought they were going to kiss. Ooh. Okay, so in the original release, this episode came first. However, these two shorts were packaged together on a VHS tape, so I assume they took that tape and uploaded it to YouTube, which is why this one has... I believe they may have been reversed on the tape, but this definitely was the first episode of the episode. In any case, let's pull up the next one. Wow, that's loud. All right, here we go.
It's almost time.
Oh
I
boy.
should hope so. For the last
least it's
7
not in
days, your papa
terrible
has been
rhymes.
a caution to live with. Ever since he stored that batch of boysenberry honey in the cellar. It's all he
Very
thinks about.
honey-centric
How come we have to
episode.
wait 7 days, Papa?
And why do you have
Because
to
that's how long
keep
a
it in the
person can
cellar?
survive in a well.
That's the way it is with boysenberry honey.
Boys
It
and
has to
berries.
age for exactly 7 days in a cool, dry place to reach its full peak of delicious flavor.
I'm just going to keep making
Time.
Koji Suzuki jokes.
Oh boy, have I been dreaming about this.
No one in Bear Country loves honey better than Papa.
Now, I
Especially
wonder why they
boysenberry
changed the
honey.
title from the missing
No!
honey to the
Gone.
disappearing
My
honey.
boysenberry honey. Stolen. Who?
Because it is
This is
missing.
a case for the bear detectives.
Right. Better signal Cousin Freddy. Pronto.
There he goes. So this was the book where
What's
Brother
all the
Bear
commotion?
originally, there was a
Honey
photo,
theft is
an
the
image of
lowest
him
crime known to bears.
whistling
This
with his
call from my
fingers in his
expert
mouth. Maybe they'll
sniffer
show
hound,
it here.
Snuff.
Oh, no, they're not going to. In the illustration, his fingers are in his mouth and like his eyes are
It's some
crossed.
fur.
And look, a shred of red and yellow striped cloth.
Well, that was
Of
fast.
course, clues. Scientific
C-L-O-O-Z.
detection. This calls for
Clues.
calculating detection by the world's greatest detective, yours truly, Papa Q Bear.
One unimpressed
Maybe you should
owl.
ask Mr. Owl to help. He's on
You
Maple
know,
Town Walk.
Mr. Owl,
No,
who we
this
always
isn't a
talk
case for
to.
amateurs. Besides,
Is this
wouldn't want to wait.
the owl
Works nights, you know.
from the later books?
What's this? Looks like some kind of wax.
Looks
I'll
like someone
put it
threw
with
up on
our
the
other
stairs.
clues. What
Snuff.
does it mean anything?
To my trained eye, they mean everything.
Wait, I thought you
Take this
didn't
fur,
go
for
for
instance.
magnifying
Bear
glasses,
fur,
Papa.
of course.
You
Moreover,
disparaged
criminal
magnifying
bear
glasses
fur.
in a
I
previous
can
Bear
tell by the
Detectives
blunt
episode.
hair shaft. Red and yellow.
Don't ever
a
say
flashy
blonde hair
dresser, no
shaft
doubt.
on a
And the
children's
wax.
show, Papa.
Wax.
Wax.
Of course, wax is commonly used by criminals to make impressions of locks, to make illegal keys.
Looks like ordinary bear fur to me.
The colors
Well, do we
don't
know any
seem
bears?
that flashy. And as for using wax to make a key, well, the cellar has no lock.
Picky, picky, picky. Besides, we haven't even unleashed our biggest and best weapon, the magnificent nose of our sniffer hound, Snuff.
And I thought we didn't like Snuff.
That's
I thought
it.
he wasn't
Load
very
up your
good at his
mighty
job.
nostrils.
Or her job. We don't get Cousin Fred calling Papa Unc enough in the books. In the cartoon, he does. He has like, blades on the front of his dungarees. The music's not doing it for me in this episode. Although I do love a good panorama of Bear Town, especially with the Great Bear War Cannon right there in the center of town. That's great.
He's hot on the Boysenberry Trail.
Bear
Papa,
Books.
that's Madame Lisette's fashion boutique.
Don't be
Damn,
fooled.
Lisette.
It's
Ooh la
clearly
la,
a
who is
front
this?
for a criminal ring. It's for Mrs. Bunnypot's birthday. I mean, Honeypot's birthday. And I want your finest stench, smell, perfume.
Oh, dear
No, please don't ever come in my shop
Such a
again.
charming, fruity air.
Aha!
Speaking of sharp
Incriminating
and fruity
fragrance
air,
of
hello
Boysenberry.
there, Honeypot.
Grab 'em, Snuff.
Papa! P.U.
Shit, I guess you went to the skunk
I don't
store.
know. It's a little extreme.
Wait, there's a honey stand right behind you.
Extreme problems require extreme solutions. And it just might work. They'll be out pretty soon.
Poor Papa.
And Snuff.
This is
Most
called
refreshing.
filler. This is called throwing some gags.
You know that
the
big
stories.
presentation you have to finish?
My
Well,
God,
it's not going to
commercials.
write itself.
Story's not long enough.
Yes, somewhere in this town beats a criminal heart.
Papa. it's
Someone in
just
this town
Bear
beats a
Town.
criminal's brains
And the
in.
bears here are all our neighbors. Yeah, Unc, the crook could be anybody.
A very astute
So
observation.
both these episodes
nephew.
are about
It could be anybody.
suspecting
The
your
butcher,
neighbors
the
of
baker,
things.
The candlestick maker. The candlestick maker. Of course, the mysterious wax. We've got our crook.
Mysterious
Careful now,
Wax
Snuff.
is a good
You
name
could
for
be
a record
desperate.
store.
Old Mr. Grizzlefelder, the candlestick maker?
He wouldn't take a wild flower from the public park.
And I've tried to get him to so many times.
Exactly. He's been planning this crime for years. Come on, Snuff. Let's
Papa's
get
a
him.
real the monsters are here
Quiet.
on
You
Maple
cover the
Street
front.
kind
Only
of
the
guy,
nose
isn't
will
he?
Sneak around and attack from the rear. It's quiet. Too quiet. All right, Grizzlefelder, you scurvy honey thief. I'm gonna
I
count
was looking
three.
at the
Then we're
at
coming
the
in.
at the
One,
subtitles that it said you
two.
scurvy
Oh,
horny
no.
thief.
Papa, wait!
Three.
He's dead.
After him, Snuff.
Papa, the sign says he died 3 days ago.
Where'd Papa go?
The Grizzlefelder gang's attacking us. Yo!
What a mess!
Oh, he just ruined an old man's
Papa,
business.
I found this on the front door. Gone fishing. Be back a week from Tuesday.
So you see, he couldn't have
It was written
stolen
3
your
months
honey.
ago.
Yeah, slippery old codger. Well, he's still on my suspect list, so tell him he's not to leave town.
Kind of a terrible, terrible guy.
Boy,
Papa
that
Bear.
was some job straightening up Grizzlefelder's shop.
Go, Snuff, go!
Go dog go.
Aha! A perfect hideout. And the red and yellow clue. We're up against the cleverest kind
I
of
just have
criminal.
less
a
patience
female
for this
mastermind.
setup. Just Papa being a numbskull and getting in the way of his,
Ah,
him getting in his
Scarcely
own
love
way
them, Snuff.
gets.
That's
Wait, I
Greek
guess.
for fine
Well, I was gonna
woman.
say.
Papa,
I was gonna say
wait.
watching them back to back like this, but I
You see,
would
I'm
have been
closing in
watching
on a
them
vicious
on a
criminal.
weekly
But
cycle.
this is
So
Grizzly Grand's
Oh.
house.
It wouldn't matter to me if it were my own mother. Now, Snuff!
wait, then who's Grizzly Grand?
Oh!
I was gonna say, okay, I was gonna say.
Oh, hi, Gran.
Sakes alive, what's got into you, Papa Q Bear?
It's a long story.
I'm listening.
The fact that she calls her
And
own son
Papa's
Papa
been chasing
is
all over town.
Trouble with you, Papa, is you're getting weak-minded. Here, you need some of my boysenberry tonic to strengthen your mind. And as for that honey thief, let me have a look in my crystal ball.
Oh yeah, remember, Grizzly
It's coming
Gran,
through,
canonically
bright
a
and clear.
witch.
The honey thief is very near. The honey was taken by the stealthy hand of the greatest honey lover in all the land. Well, be off with you now.
Who stole the honey, people? I'll give you exactly one guess.
Papa sure is depressed.
What do you expect? He failed to solve the case. Worse than that, he lost his status as Bear Country's greatest honey lover.
My reputation
Honey
is
lover.
ruined.
Hey, being number 2 isn't that bad, Unc.
Look at me. I'm number
You're a good
98
cub,
in my peer group
Huh?
of 15.
Snuff? What's the...
Does the tree have a smile on it? It looks like a little kite-eating tree sitch.
Hurry! After them!
What is it, Snuff? What in blue blazes?
Papa, those are your pajamas.
Yes, and
Why,
didn't
yes,
you
they-
notice
they
when
are.
you woke up that
Red
they
and
were
yellow
torn?
pajamas.
Your pajama tops are sticky with honey.
Gross, and you just put them
Boysenberry
back in the
honey.
drawer?
Come to think of it, this fur looks an awful lot like yours.
Okay, but to be fair...
Me? Are you accusing me of stealing my own
That's
honey?
racist.
May I intrude?
Absolutely, Mr. Owl.
Well, as you know, I'm on the town watch night shift. And around midnight for the past 7 nights, I've noticed Papa Bear coming out in his pajamas.
The red and yellow pajamas.
Yes, we
Carrying
picked
the
up on
candle.
that, sister.
That explains the mysterious wax.
Every night he'd go into the cellar.
Uh-huh. Papa's fur.
A little later he'd come out, licking his lips, and go back into the treehouse. Well, since the honey belonged to Papa, and since it's not a good idea to awaken a sleepwalker,
All right,
Papa
still.
didn't steal the honey. He was just sleepwalking.
And also, he couldn't
That
have
mean
stolen
I'm
the honey.
innocent?
It was
course.
his.
And Mr. Owl certainly deserves our thanks.
no
Sorry about all the
problem. All in the night's
Tootsie Roll
work.
Pop references.
Well,
jokes
I
that we
offer
are constantly
congratulations
making in
on
your
2
presence, sir.
counts. 1, because we solved the case. And 2, because I kept my title as Bear Country's #1 honey
did it.
lover.
Get out.
Stop taking meeting notes and
Stop
let ClickUp
talking
AI
at
Note Taker
me.
do it for
Stop
you.
it.
It allows you to focus
Stop.
on your meetings, not your notes. It
Stop it.
captures everything, from
Stop.
action items to key decisions.
Stop. Stop. Sorry for the wonkiness of the episode, everyone. By the way, it's just this isn't my setup. It's not my usual setup. Should I do a review of Sleepy Sheepy and the Sheepover that's sort of just staring at me? The ad. Hey, everybody, I'm going to take these headphones off, and we're going to head back into the studio. Let's go. I put my hat on because no one should ever see without my hat. And we're back. We watched 2 episodes. The Berenstain Bears learned about strangers, the Berenstain Bears, and the disappearing honey. You know we did because I told you up top that that's what we were doing. Okay. First off, Learn About Strangers was essentially the same book. Quick rundown if you haven't read that book in a couple of decades. In the book, brother and sister enjoy hanging out together. Sister is far more gregarious than brother. She's very friendly. She greets and talks to everyone she encounters on their walks to and from the park, including people she doesn't know. And brother is mildly concerned about the fact that she's so chatty, not just with the frogs and the butterflies, but with people sitting on benches, people jogging by. She's just a friendly cub, and so she brings it up with Mama and Papa that sister talks a lot to strangers. And he tells her, like, you shouldn't talk to strangers. And she says, why? And he's like, let's talk to Mama and Papa about that. I'm not qualified to talk about it, which is true. So she talks to Papa, and he says that she should never talk to strangers. And she's like, what do you mean? Why? And so he shows her a newspaper full of stories, filled with stories of child abductions, which is wild. Like, you don't think of Beartown as being that dangerous. I can only assume it's the news coming out of Big Bear City. So many child abductions and stranger bothers cub being one of the headlines, whatever that means. That it freaks sister right the heck out. She wakes up the next morning. She doesn't want to go to the park. And when she finally does, she starts seeing every single person as a threat. So she talks to Mama about it. And this is the famous scene with the apples. Mama's washing apples to cut into a pie. And she's like, you don't have to be afraid. You shouldn't talk to strangers and you shouldn't accept gifts from strangers. But you don't have to be afraid of every stranger. Most people are fine. And she's like, I almost guarantee you that everyone at that park was fine. They wouldn't have hurt you at all. And so sister's like, well, how do you know the difference? And Mama's like, well, you don't, because you ever hear the expression, like, every bushel of apples has a bad apple in it? And sister's like, yeah. And she's like, well, here. She holds up this sort of like lumpy, misshapen apple, and she cuts it open, and it's nice inside. Then she holds up a nice looking apple and cuts it open. It's full of worms. And sister's like, I get it, even though none of us get it, because what's the point that you made? Was the point that you can never tell what's going on inside or outside a person, so maybe their brain is full of worms? I don't know. It doesn't really, to me, that would just be like, anyone could be full of worms now. Like, even this beautiful apple's full of worms. So they go to the park the next day. Sister's not afraid anymore, but brother sees a guy with a remote control plane and watches the guy fly it, and the guy invites brother into his car to go along with them to, like, chase the plane with the remote control. Brother almost gets in the car with the stranger. Sister catches him, tattles on brother, and he gets a talking to by Mama and Papa. Sister says we have a rule about talking to strangers, and brother's like, we also have a rule about tattletaling. To which Mama responds, it's not tattletaling. Tattling on someone is when you tell somebody that someone did something, just to do it, just to get a rise out of people. But this is not tattling, because sister was genuinely concerned about your safety. And to me, and I said this while watching it, to me, that's the ultimate lesson of Learn About Strangers. Because when we talked with the Jacob Wetterling Resource Center 10 odd years ago, they emphasized repeatedly that stranger danger is a flawed system. Teaching children not to talk to strangers is an incredibly flawed system, because if a child is lost or in danger themselves, 999 times out of 100, that child is going to have to talk to a stranger in order to get help. Be it there's not always going to be a policeman or a friendly shopkeep. Like, you might have to approach someone. So what her lesson was, you don't teach children to never talk to strangers. You teach children how to talk to strangers. And you remember that it's not on the child to discern who is safe and who is not. Therefore, you teach the children to have the same reaction and response to everyone they meet, which is you never get into a car with anyone without your parents' permission. It doesn't matter if it's someone they've never met. It doesn't matter if it's their own grandparents. Without their parents or their trusted adult, the answer is always the same. I will have to talk to my parents first. I'll talk to my mom first. I'll talk to my dad first. And you say that to everyone. And that way the child doesn't have to determine whether or not a person is safe. There's a general rule that applies to everyone. Even if it's a relative who comes up that the child knows very well, they still say, I'm going to have to talk with my parents first, because that takes the responsibility out of the child's hand. It makes it so that they are capable of approaching a person they don't know if they need help. And it puts the onus on the adults in the situation. So that's my response. This episode did a great job of illustrating the book, of taking the scary parts and making them just as scary, of illustrating the way sister sees the world. The music was just bang on. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I want I want the music from this show. It's got just some great just bops in this particular episode. Learn About Strangers. The hits just kept on coming, baby. The hits just kept on coming. I really enjoyed it. It's a good, solid episode. Again, it was written by Stan and Jan. My only gripe is at the very beginning of the episode is this long-ish sequence of sister trying to get brother to hang out with her. And he keeps coming up with different excuses not to hang out with her. Mama's like, he's going through a phase. He wants to do his own thing for a while. Doesn't come into play at all. Feels like filler. Just feels like they're padding out the beginning, like the runtime a little bit, just just to, yeah, because it doesn't, brother not wanting to hang out with sister is not relevant to the story. I mean, it's a nice illustration of their dynamic, but it doesn't really, it doesn't set you up for strangers at all. That's that episode. Okay, the next episode we watched was the Berenstain Bears, the Disappearing Honey. Now, the book it's based on is the Berenstain Bears and the Missing Honey. I don't know why they changed it to Disappearing. It is not in the process of disappearing. It has disappeared. The book was a rhyming book for little kids, and the basic story is Papa is very excited to crack open his store of boysenberry honey that he's been saving up all season for. He goes down into the basement to pick it up into his storage unit, and it's gone. It's gone. Someone has stolen all of his honey, and so the bear detectives and their trusty dog Snuff set out to find the honey, and they find clues. They find a torn bit of clothing, like red checkered like plaid. They find a tuft of bear fur. They find a puddle of wax, and so they set out to find out who could have stolen the honey based on these clues. And all of their clues, Papa jumps the gun, and it leads him to nothing. They end up trashing an old man's candle shop, like an 80-year-old bear's candle shop, because they think Papa thinks he might be responsible for the wax that they found. I don't know why a candle maker would walk around with liquid wax, but in any case, it ends up with them at Grizzly Grand's house because they smell boysenberries, and she's like, "That's my boysenberry tonic." But I'll look into my crystal ball, because remember, she's a warlock, a wizrobe. She looks into her crystal ball, and she determines that the honey is in the possession. The honey thief is Bear Country's greatest number one honey lover. And that upsets Papa to no end, partly because he's not going to get his honey back, and secondly, because he thought he was Bear Country's greatest honey lover, number one honey lover, and now he realizes he must be number two. Now, amidst all this, Mama has been suggesting they ask the wise old owl, who is an owl, who was in the book and would come into play in many later bear detective books. I think Bear Scouts books, the little like sort of like flippity floppy like tic-tac-toe mystery book and stuff. The wise old owl who just answers their question. Like he just gives them the answer to every mystery. This is like prototype wise old owl. Mr. Owl. Mama's like, you should ask Mr. Owl. You know, he kind of sees everything that happens. Finally, they ask Mr. Owl. They're like, Mr. Owl, what's going on? Because Snuff has led them finally to Papa's own bedroom. And in his dresser, they find his pajamas that have a piece torn out of them. And it's the fabric piece. And they're covered in honey. And Papa's fur is the same color as the fur they found. And so Mr. Wise Old Owl's finally like, look, I'm the night watch around here. I'm up all night. I see everything that happens. And for the last few nights, Papa's been coming out of his room, sleepwalking, heading into the cellar, and coming out covered in honey. I didn't think to tell anybody anything. And it wasn't my business. Basically, it wasn't my business. I didn't want to wake him up because you don't ever want to wake up a sleepwalker, which isn't true. And so they're like, oh, I see. So Papa's been sleepwalking and eating his own supply. Like, that's it. Papa's been eating his own supply. They all have a big laugh over it. Papa realizes he is the number one honey lover. And I said, honey lover. And that's it. That was the episode. And much better than the book. I'll say there's a little padding. There's a little like, let's throw in a long gag of Papa falling down or whatever, because it's not a very long story. But it's very solid Saturday morning entertainment. But also, Papa spends the whole book, the whole story, suspecting his neighbors. It's got to be one of these people we live near who's stolen my honey. It could be this person. It could be, and it comes to like, Papa, these are your people, you know, these are your neighbors. And I thought it was fascinating that 2 episodes in which two of our core cast learned to be suspicious of their own community, were sort of just paired together. They were like, these 2 episodes fit together because they're both about suspecting your neighbors and not trusting the people around you. And in both episodes, well, kind of this first one, but mostly the second one, they learn that their suspicions are unfounded. The community they've trusted, they can always trust. The community they've relied on, they can always rely on. It's only their own, it's only their own perception. That's made them afraid of the people in their community, which is a nice segue into me saying, talking about the fact that I live in a community where people are having to be very trusting of each other, because we're still under siege by the United States government, and there's a lot of mutual aid going on in the area. So if you have it in you to give, again, there's a link right over here or in the description of the episode, where you can send any kind of funds for mutual aid. We have people helping out neighbors who are afraid to leave their homes, get food, get supplies, get things like diapers, get things like they get their laundry done. That's a big one. People are afraid to go to laundromats, so volunteers are taking their laundry and washing them in their own homes or in volunteer businesses. We have restaurants in town now that have gone completely free for their meals until this nightmare is over. But it does take funds. And so there's a couple of links that you can go to, take a look at them and see where you want to give if you want to give. And if you go to one of them and it looks like if there's a GoFundMe involved, and if it looks like there's a lot of money in that GoFundMe and you're like, oh, I guess they don't need my money. Trust me, they do need the money. They are paying rent for people right now. Who can't pay their own rent because they can't go to work because they're afraid of being kidnapped. So if you have it in your heart to throw a few bucks towards the mutual aid here, really appreciate it. I know this is a very small platform, but I'm doing what I can. That's all we can do, because like the Berenstain Bears, I love this community. I love the people in it, and everyone has their place. Everyone is contributing. Everyone contributes in some way. It's just wonderful to have everyone here, and I want them to stay safe and stay here. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for being a part of the Deep in Bear Country family. And I will see you all next time with the last episode of season 1 of the Berenstain Bears, Deep in Bear Country.